Well, now that I've had a couple days to recoup a little bit, I can actually sit there and give my honest impressions on the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. So before I get fully into my actual review of the Five Nights at Freddy's movies, don your best animatronic suit and hit the subscribe button today. Subscribe to the channel. Every once in a while I get to go out and see a movie, and this is my experience of it. I saw it Thursday night. I'm recording this on Saturday because it's the earliest I've been able to record something. The movie itself was pretty good. I enjoyed myself, my wife enjoyed herself, and ultimately the crowd was completely into it. Cheering at certain aspects of the movie. It was one of those movies that was very decent in the theater. You know, usually I don't like going out to the theater because you get some asshole that's wearing a bottle of cologne with the date that he's trying to go out on. And it's not the same experience. You sit there and you start sneezing to all these things. But the Five Nights at Freddy's movie was actually a fun time. It was a really fun time. I laughed a lot. It's not a horror movie, I have to say that. That's probably my biggest gripe about the whole thing. It's done by Blumhouse, which created Megan and other horror movies, but the ambience of the game was not one, or not of the movie, not of the game. The games are irrelevant right now, but the movie itself was not a horror. It wasn't really suspenseful. There was aspects of it, and to me it could have been easily a made-for-TV movie, and I think that's why it's come out on the streaming service Peacock right away. Now, the movie is trending very well over the weekend. It's already made almost $40 million in the Thursday, Friday night numbers, which is absolutely amazing. That's huge news. I believe the budget for the movie was $34 million, so it's already made its money back and then some, and it's going to track very well, probably going to be just short of 80 million for the weekend. That's huge. Now, the critics panned this movie. They said it was horrible. They said it diverted from the lore of the games, and that is part of the issue with the lore, or the theory crafting around Five Nights at Freddy's. Is a lot of people sit there and they say it's got to be adamant, it's got to be the lore. So what did these critics do? Sit there and watch a game theory video on it and go, this is the absolute truth, this is what it is? And because it diverted from that, they don't understand the nuance of how the lore is twisted, it's converted, it's completely separate from itself. Now, there's a bunch of little hidden details ultimately throughout the thing. There's probably easily over 100 different Easter eggs. When you're sitting there watching the movie, you will spot every single thing out there if you've sat there and played some of the games. If you've watched a lot of the theory crafters out there, you will spot them all, on top of some unknown people that might be also in the game. I'm trying not to spoil anything here in the game, in the movie. It's going to be hard to come across that this is now a movie made from a video game, but this is one of the biggest franchises that's now marketable. It's out there in the movie space. It's going to make a second movie. They're already talking about it, and it sounds like that's on board, and I look forward to seeing a second movie that takes place maybe a decade later in the future. Now, certain things that I thought were going to happen didn't happen, and certain things that did happen kind of flipped the script in itself from what we know of the lore. So if you know the lore, this movie will completely reorientate you how the lore is always forever changing. I believe this was the original envision of what Scott probably wanted in the movie. Scott Cawthon being the creator of Five Nights at Freddy's. I think this was an idea that went through many rewrites and many different tone aspects of the movie. There was cute scenes, there was not scary scenes at all. I wouldn't say I was terrified or had a jump scare throughout the whole thing, and that's probably the one thing that it was missing, was more pronounced jump scares through the whole thing. I gotta say they were severely lacking in that sense, and because of that, it's not the movie I think it could have been. Now, did it hit its target audience, 12-year-old to 16-year-old? I think it hit it very well. I think the target audience was on point. I think that's where this movie has to be looked at. If you're a 12-year-old that's into Five Nights at Freddy's, you will completely enjoy this movie. If you are an adult like me that knows more of the lore and knows a little bit behind the scenes, watching many different videos, playing a couple of the games. I haven't played all the games, so I don't know every aspect of the lore, but I know enough out there from other people playing the games and seeing their playthroughs and knowing more behind it. You will like this movie. My wife, who doesn't know much about Five Nights at Freddy's other than they being animatronics, she enjoyed the movie too. It was decently written. I thought it was decently done, and in every aspect I wasn't bored. An hour and 49-minute long movie felt like 10 minutes. It went by very quickly. I was left wanting more, and I want to watch the movie another time over. I think this is one of those movies that I'd easily put on the background during Halloween for the years to come, and it will be something that I look forward to possibly owning if there will be a physical release. It's hard to say where the digital line draws and where the physical release of movies continue to happen. Ultimately, I would say the movie's about a 7.5 out of 10. I wouldn't say it's a perfect 10 out of 10. There is a lot of lacking pizzazz with it, but at the same tone, at $34 million, it's not your blockbuster budget, and I think it does very well for itself. I think ultimately they have a hit on their hands. I think the fandom's going to carry this movie, and it's going to be something absolutely to treasure for the years to come. Well, I've been your proud Canadian Phoenix Cinder Shadow. I'm signing off here. Sorry about the mix-up of the numbering. $34 million obviously is in Canadian funds because I'm in Canada. Of course, I'm going to talk about our funds and not so much the US funds, but that's why I have the correction in there. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I will see you all very soon, and thanks for watching.